Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
So we are privileged on the show today to be joined by Monique Powell of Save Ferris. This is part of our punk rock politics situation that we've got going on here on the show. In the run-up to the election, we have decided to speak to as many different people as we possibly can. A lot of people that work within the punk and or rock idioms to try and discover what they think politically and why they think that. If you've listened to the show at any length before, you know that we kind of live by the following philosophy. All of us in America kind of sort of want the same stuff. If you ask almost anybody, what are the things you want for yourself? What are the things that you want for your family? What are the things you want for your kids? Well, we all want to be able to have a roof over our heads. We all want, if we have kids, for those kids to have a shot at an education, at a future, at all of these things. We would love it if we had more money at the end of the month instead of more month at the end of the money. And we'd love it if we were able to cultivate that money at the end of the month by doing work that we found to be meaningful, satisfying, rewarding. What we want, all of us, is shockingly similar when you ask people what it is they're working to or what it is they're trying to achieve or what you think is right for this country. And if we bear that in mind as we look across different sides of the political fence, there's a chance that we can recognize that we're all working toward the same thing. We might have radically different ideas of how it is that we're going to get there or the best way to get there. But if we take a moment and we stop and we recognize that what we want is the same, there's a chance that rather than getting super dug in, rather than thinking that somebody who is voting differently from you is an evil a-hole that hates America, rather than being divided, there's a chance that we can talk and, possibly even learn something from one another. So our punk rock politics segment is really an opportunity for us to learn about different people and why they feel the way they do, no matter what it is they feel, bearing in mind that we're all trying to work toward the same thing. And we're going to get into that with Monique Powell of Save Ferris in just a little bit. Right now, though, I have a question for you, Monique, and thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You, like Save Ferris, I guess, had a really incredible run from the mid to late 90s till about 2003. And then you did something interesting. You took 10 years off, like a decade off.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And we were talking about this a little bit before, but I know bands that have been hucking it out since right around that same sort of time that work hard at it every single day, trying to cultivate and maintain an audience and get people to show up to shows and buy records and T-shirts and all this stuff. It's tough work being a musician, and it's tough work maintaining a band and an audience and all this sort of stuff. Yet you were able to step away from it and come back more in demand than a lot of people I know that are working hard at it every single day. What do you attribute that to? Because you took your 10-year break, and now all of a sudden, Save Ferris is a name that's on everybody's lips.
You know, I think I just got lucky. The fact that people still remember who we are in any capacity is like a miracle to me. Every time I hear someone who knows the name of the band, I'm just like stunned. Like, really? You remember us? Wow. I really think we just got lucky. I really do.
Yeah. You chalk it up to timing and luck?
Yeah, well, you know, we had some songs on the radio that helped. We had a really loyal audience of fans who are all like grown up and have their own kids now, which is super weird. Like, they bring their kids to the shows and then they show me a picture of them when they were their kids' age at a Save Ferris show.
Right.
I'm like, wow, this is super weird. But yeah, you know, I think so far we've gotten lucky. We've gotten some really great shows, and we've been able to let people know that we're back in some capacity at least, and they've been very responsive. So I don't know. I think I really don't know what it is. I just feel very fortunate.
I think a big part of the long-term success for bands like you and being able to come back and do things in the way that you have, I think a lot of it has to do with your ability to make people feel good. I know it's an oversimplification of things, but I think you make a type of music and you've written songs that make people feel good. And people are always going to want to feel good. And that's why you're on the show. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
We are far too young and clever. Remember, I mean, I'll understand forever. I mean, I'll understand forever. Come on, Eileen, oh, I swear what he means.
Our guest on the show today, Monique Powell of Save Ferris, part of our punk rock politics series. We're going to be talking to her a little later on in the show about what she believes politically and why she believes that. Right now, though, let's take a look at the events of today in our segment, My Witness News, read by super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhouser. How are you today, Funkhouser? Everything good?
I'm great. Today's a great day. Like, do I even need to say why?
Did you go to Save Ferris shows back in the day when you were...
Yeah. I was a ginormous fan. I still am a ginormous fan.
So, like, my theory about
probably went to
Save
them
Ferris, my theory about Save Ferris making people feel good, and I think a lot of music that came out around that time had a similar sort of like, I don't know, upbeat, feel good vibe. It was just the right sort of time for that sort of thing. I think what's the old expression? Lousy times, great music. Great times, lousy music. And I think that there was a lot of people struggling for a lot of different reasons. And music like that has this ability to lift people up and make them feel good. When you go to a Save Ferris show, I'm just going to talk about Monique like she's not in the room for a second. But Funkhouser, when you go to a Save Ferris show, are you instantly transported back to that happy-go-lucky sense of youth and possibility and reckless abandon that life is spread out before you like an open road?
Well, yeah. It's kind of like okay, I'm at an age where I'm not gonna put my shoes on and go outside for any old band.
Right.
Like there's a lot of good music happening around town because I'm in Hollywood. The middle of everything. You can go out and see a show for any time of the day, and I used to be all into that. But nowadays, it's few and far between. But I'll go to every single Save Ferris thing. Because I did in the past. I've done since the beginning. It's just came around at the right time.
Can I talk? Can I say something?
Yeah.
You can talk, yeah.
Hi,
Yeah, we've had her on the show. Let's have her
we
talk.
just happen to
Go
have
on.
the
Please
lead
do.
singer in here, yes. Mhm.
Yeah. No, let's talk about her band and what makes it good.
La 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 la. Hi.
No, please do. Go ahead.
I just wanted to. Barry, did you go to the Echo show?
Yeah, I went to the
Secret
Echo show, yeah.
Isn't that fun?
It was awesome.
It was like
Secret
the old
show.
days.
Mm-hmm. It was
Yes.
packed with people with Save Ferris shirts.
And everybody
was cool.
knew the words of the songs. It was pretty
I used
cool.
to call radio stations in Santa Barbara and request Save Ferris, and they'd get mad at me because I'd be like, "We just heard from you. We already have your request." Yeah, but I just wanted to make sure. And then I'd call back, "Hi, I'm Bob. Can I request this #1 song today?"
I love it. I love Barry. He's the best.
It is an amazing thing just because, other bands could have a secret show and it would stay very secret. Nobody would show up. But you can have a secret show and have it be packed with adoring fans. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, it was wall to wall. That's why I didn't see you there. I couldn't get to you. I was in the back by the bar.
Oh. I was shocked.
But it was so
myself.
cool. Everybody
I was surprised.
everybody has a story. Like whether it be like, oh, this is the first. I can't believe I got to see them after like loving them. People discover people are new to discover like the music on Spotify and on the internet, and it's cool to hear the conversations between different generations.
It really is. It is very cool. Someone was telling me, our producer, John Avila, was telling me the story how he was working with this band that are fairly well known. He was at Capitol, and one of the girls asked, "What are you doing right now?" He said, "I'm working on Save Ferris. Do you know who they are?" And she's like, "Oh my God, they were my favorite band." And she goes on to tell a story about how when we were playing, she was just dehydrated and so hot that she was singing so loud that she passed out and awoke to someone in a wheelchair wheeling her out of the venue. And she's like, "I will never forget that show. That was the greatest night of my life." It's like, that is super cool.
Yeah, I have a story like that too. But
did you
everybody
pass out
has
and
a
get
story
saved by
like that.
someone in a wheelchair?
No, similar, but I didn't pass out. I should have, though.
I passed out at a show.
Well, what happened?
What, with me?
Yeah.
My show? Well, man, I'm trying to think of which Warped Tour it was, but I'd always want to get in the front row, and it takes a commitment to get to the front row back in the, when the Warped Tour was on.
Absolutely.
You had to figure out what bands you wanted to see and how close you could see them way ahead of time. Like, you have to suffer through like a band you don't want to see the band, And I saw Green Day that way, and I saw Save Ferris that way every time. But that's the commitment where, it's 110 degrees outside and you're surrounded by people and they're all just happy. They're not like, "You're too sweaty, get away from me." They're all just, I can't wait for them to go on. Me neither. Woohoo!
Yeah. I passed out at a Warped Tour show. Just like coming.
Were you playing it or were you attending it?
Oh, I was playing it. And I feel like it was Arizona because it's, hot as balls out there. And as I was walking off the stage, I just started to pass out on the stairs. And then I awoke to, I think it was the road manager for NoFX. He'd thrown me over his shoulder and carried me to the NoFX bus where they grabbed a large trash can and I proceeded to throw up in it on the NoFX bus, which they thought was super punk.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have some questions for Monique about a great number of things, specifically what it was that made you want to start making music the way you did. We'll get to it when we return. Thanks for hanging out.
Haven't had much good ride in a while. Haven't had much of a reason to smile. Haven't had many things come out.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of yous, guys out there in Radioland. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on.
Our guest.
They said I grew up like Bruce Jenner. He was a winner that never knew defeat. And when he got hungry, he cracked open that special treat. Oh, it was spam. It's being canned double spam. A bite at the mobile spam. It's made into noble spam.
I just caught the line about growing up like Bruce Jenner, which carries a significantly different type of weight, knowing what we know now. So our guest on the show today is Monique Powell of Save Ferris as part of our punk rock politics segment. You displayed your punk rock credentials just there with a story about throwing up in a trash can on NoFX's tour bus on the Warped Tour. I don't think there's anything more punk rock than that. But for you, what was it? Because I tend to find that with most musicians, there's a story of either a band or a record or seeing someone on TV or live that makes you go, I have to do something with music. And I remember the reason I always ask musicians this question is back in the day when I was a kid growing up in England listening to the radio, I heard Jerry Cantrell interviewed, and whoever the DJ was at the time was like, what's your first real musical experience? He was like, oh, Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I was like, wow, would not have seen that one coming. So you always get some interesting stories in this way. What was it for you, do you suppose? If you had to pick one piece of music or perhaps a performance on television or a record or a band that made you go, I got to do this. I got to put myself on a path where I'm going to go on Warped Tours, throw up in NoFX's tour bus and sing songs about Spam and Bruce Jenner and do the incredible things that you've been doing for the last 15 or so years?
The one thing that's really coming to mind, well, you know what? From the age of 11 years old, I really wanted to do music. I started studying opera when I was 11, but I really had no idea that I was going to end up singing in a band. And not until I was about 17 or 18, I was in college. But that being said, what's coming to mind is I would think I was about 9 years old, and I went to see the Go-Go's at Irvine Meadows Amphitheater, which is now called something else. Do you know, Barry?
It was Verizon Wireless. It might still be that. They're changing names like every day now.
Yeah, like every day.
It'd be like the Microsoft Apple Theater in the Wilderness on Irvine.
Yeah, I guess I'm showing my age by saying that, but it was really interesting, and I just remember being just enamored with Belinda, and she was playing barefoot. I was like, that's so cool. And coincidentally, my best friend, Abby Travis, grew up to be their bass player.
Wow.
Yes. And they just played their last show. The Go-Go's just played their last show, like last week.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So let me ask you this, because I've heard stories about this one infamous tour from record label Weasels and from some of the folks in some of the bands. Was this a tour with, it was like the Police, the Go-Go's, and Madness opening up for them? Was that the one?
I can't even remember, but if that were to happen today, Barry Funkhouser and I would be in the front row crying.
Heads exploding.
Crying like children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get on your shoulders? And then you can get on my shoulders next. Can I get on your shoulders?
Throw something at them so they know we're here.
Yeah.
I like that.
So it was the Go-Go's, you think?
I think so, yeah. I mean, that was my first show. That was my first show, and that was very inspiring as a kid. But there was a lot of music I listened to that was the result of my sister's influence, who's almost 11 years older than I am. So that music also influenced me, but the Go-Go show was really paramount, I think.
I could see how that would definitely be a formative experience. We'll talk a little bit more to Monique about her political beliefs in the run-up to this election a little later on. Right now, though, Funkhouser, let's continue with the news. What is going on in the world?
Oh, there's so many things. So many things. That's what I say when I lost my place.
I figured that out a couple months ago.
Oh, you did?
I think you might have managed to pull the wool over listeners' eyes until you peeled the curtain back and you allowed them in. So now we know.
An Indiana high school may stop honoring valedictorians.
Were you anything close to being a valedictorian in high school, either of you?
No, absolutely not. Not even close. I almost didn't graduate.
My valedictorian had a cool name, Yin Yang.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? Really?
No, Yin Yang.
Yin Yang?
Which is interesting because I think that we may have had two valedictorians at my school. One was We Win and the other was We Won.
Are you really?
I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
Wow.
Pretty awesome.
Wonder how many stories are like that. Weird names.
Of course, the school's student body in this Indiana high school, I would imagine all millennials. So fortunately, they won't have to go a single second without being handed a trophy and reminded how absolutely wonderful they are for showing up. So it doesn't really matter that they're stopping the honoring of valedictorians. Go on.
It.
A new study analyzed the best things you can put in your online dating profile.
Do we know what those are?
Say Ferris fan. Hashtag. Scott.
Hashtag Bruce Jenner grew up to be like me.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Funkhouser, you've dated online. Monique, what's your? I don't know if you're comfortable talking about this, but what's your situation? Are you single and/or looking to mingle, or are you all shacked up?
I am shacked up, and as a matter of fact, I met my husband online.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how long ago? Which version of meeting a husband online was this? Was this AOL chat room meeting a husband online, or was it Tinder meeting? Because there's a lot of different types of meeting people online that have come and gone over the last 10, 15 years.
Well, I'm going to fill you guys in on a secret that I really don't talk about publicly because it's a little embarrassing. But it was almost 8 years ago, and I didn't tell anybody, but I created an eHarmony profile for myself because I had just decided that there was no way I was going to date another musician. And I had no idea how to meet a normie, you know? So I did this eHarmony thing, and I had one date, and I was like, oh, this is not for me. This is not for me.
How'd it go? Was it with like some...
He was just like really super weird and not into it, and I just left feeling so insecure. And it was bad. And then there was like a few people who were like, "Are you Monique from Save Ferris?" And I was like, "No, no, who's that?" And so, but then there was this one guy who was very persistent, and that was sort of one of my. I made a list before I joined eHarmony. I was like, "These are the things that I want." He can't be a musician, but he's got to love music as much or more than I do. He's got to be persistent. He's got to be a gentleman, and my sister has to like him. And anyway, so there was this guy who was persistent, and he and I started writing each other about music, and he asked some really interesting questions that led me to believe that he, in fact, loved music more than I did, which I don't even know if that's possible. And it was
I think
also,
it is possible. Like if you start working in music, it kind of. It'll suck some of the initial joy that you felt about music out of it. And so, like, I think if you're an outside observer, I think it's easier to maintain that.
Yes, and he loves music in a different capacity because he's not a musician. So he's just an encyclopedia of music knowledge from my favorite era. We had the exact same taste in music, which is very interesting, except he really loves the Beatles, and I was never much of a Beatles fan, and I love The Refused, and he, like, doesn't get it. But anyway, that being said, he was persistent, and he was my second date, and that's all she wrote.
Wow, very good.
So it totally does work.
What's he do?
He is he's in the artistic field.
He's in a band.
Yeah.
He immediately joined a band right after they started getting together, and it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, he's very artistic. He actually designs all our shirts, and he designed our album cover, and he's
Creative.
Very good.
talented.
So it did take another creative type to lock you down then.
Yes, absolutely it did. Absolutely.
That's not one that knows percussion.
Yeah,
Right,
it's true.
yeah.
But he knows a lot more about guitars than I do because he's a collector. He collects guitars, and we both love art, but, a specific era of art and, stuff like that. So very interesting.
Very good. So what did you put on your, like this new study analyzes the best things you can put on your online dating profile. What did you have on yours? Do you remember?
Virgin.
Liar.
Huge liar. No, I'm just kidding. What did I put on there?
Hey guys.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah. Hey,
new to
buddy.
this thing.
Hey, buddy.
Please don't send me your package. Thanks.
Yes. Nude photos, please. Pictures of kitty cats. And, it was like, gotta love animals. I have 12 cats. And
12?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I have 2.
Okay,
But
that's-
it was kind of like that. It was like, you know what? I got some cats.
Yeah, let's be real here. Here's what's up.
Yeah, it was very real. I got some cats. I wish they were dogs. And what else? I love music. I play music. And what else was it? Like something like my parents have been married 50 years, and I'm looking for some serious relationship. I can't remember. Shoot, I can't remember.
Funkhouser, you are also successfully shacked up as a result of a online dating profile. Do you remember what you said on yours?
It was easy because it was Tinder. You could do like 2 or 3 sentences. So it was like, Looking for somebody cool. Thanks. Look at my
Yeah.
pictures. I can't remember though, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, if you want to be
Once you
successful in the
hook
world
one-
of online dating, these are the boxes to check. Your favorite type of restaurant should be Italian. Your favorite animal should be a dog. Your favorite comedian better be anyone other than Bill Cosby, and there you go. But like restaurants and dogs, those are like Italian food and dogs, and you're off to a winner.
Is that really what the study came up with?
Well, the part about Bill Cosby I added myself, but yes, the restaurant, the Italian restaurant, and the dog, those things are true.
Interesting. Wow.
What,
All right.
what else, Funkhouser?
Donald Trump said Hillary Clinton doesn't have a presidential look.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, then he fixed another bobby pin into his yellow straw hair hat and went on with his day.
I love it.
Who looks like, just politics aside, who looks more presidential? Clinton or
between
Trump?
the two?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
That's
a
a hard
one.
one. Barry and I are now speaking in simpatico.
Yeah. In stereo, it's a difficult one.
Yeah, we
In the
we
looks
spent so much time
department,
together.
I think the most presidential guy we had take a presidential looking guy we had take a stab at the presidency was Mitt Romney. That strong jawed TV hair thing, like just like I said, politics aside, that guy looked like who you'd get to play the president in a movie. I thought.
Yep, I can see that.
I thought based on jawline alone, Vladimir Putin would have been trembling in his boots. What else, Funkhouser?
Hillary Clinton suffered a huge coughing fit at one of her rallies on Monday.
Yeah, well, you would too if you'd spend the entire day setting confidential documents on fire. Go on.
Delete. 1 million users of the porn site Brazzers. Do I really need to say of the porn site Brazzers? Can I just say 1 million Brazzers users had their personal information leaked?
Yeah. If you're a subscriber to any adult entertainment websites, if you know what we mean, and we think you do, you want to be awfully careful with your information because they've been hacked once, they can be hacked again, and it's an embarrassing thing, I would imagine, to have your personal information floating around the interwebs after having had it taken from the porn site Brazzers. Embarrassing, especially because, well, people are going to know that you actually pay for porn. Who does that? Absolutely no one. Make poor financial decisions.
I
We
don't
shun you.
have the Google.
One last piece of news, and then we'll talk to Monique about her political beliefs. Quick.
Marilyn Manson said Johnny Depp was unjustly crucified in his divorce.
Yes. And then he doused himself in pig's blood, lit himself on fire, and screamed, "For the love of Lucifer, somebody pay attention to me."
Now, more AD on the radio.
Listen to me, I've got something to say. I have finally realized that I'm wasting my life away. And you've made so many promises, that's all you ever do. So no, tonight I'm leaving, and I won't come back to you. Well, does it really matter?
The smooth sounds of Save Ferris. See, here's the thing about that. This is why people are showing up to the shows. This is why Monique, our guest on the show today, Monique Powell from Save Ferris, could take a 10-year break, come back, and people are right back there with her again. Listen to that. What do? You feel awesome about life, the universe, and everything. And you want to go to that show and be like, yeah, this is awesome. Things are good.
You said it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
No,
Now
thank
let's
you.
Now let's get angry political.
No, let's really not. Let me ask you this. Do you have somebody in mind that you're going to vote for? Did you have somebody that you wanted and maybe they didn't secure the nomination? Do you know what you're going to do when it comes time to exercise your right to democracy and pull that lever of freedom?
I can't vote for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
You disavow? You disavow Trump? You disavow?
I disavow, okay?
Without sounding, too controversial or whatever.
You
I
can, though.
I mean, I think that the Republican platform is not one that I find important or it scares me. I don't know how else to put it. Yeah, it's scary. It scares me. The entire platform that Trump is running on, and their plans for the next 4 years, if we get a Republican president, they're just not up my my alley at all.
Yeah.
So do you think you're going to be voting for Clinton?
See, there's two hard questions in this line of questioning.
Well, and this is the thing. This is the thing. We really want to stress that this is, as my therapist would say over and over again, a safe space. Really, what we're trying to do here is understand what people think and why they think that. And it's really, we're maybe we have listeners that agree, maybe we have listeners that disagree. I know there's people that listen to this show, and we really try and bring the left and right together. But I know there's people that listen to the show that are hardcore about voting for Trump, and there's people that think that that's a very dangerous road to go down. And there's lots of people that find Clinton to be the same thing, that are all about Gary Johnson, and a lot of people that think Sanders got jerked around and unfairly shenoogled out of the nomination, and they've been like, no more politics for me. None of these people speak to me. So we attract all types, and so I guarantee you, whatever you think, there's somebody listening that disagrees and somebody that strongly agrees. So feel free.
Well, I can tell you a few fundamental things that I feel about American politics. Firstly, I don't agree with the party system. I think we should vote for issues and not parties. And that's how I look at my candidates. Do their issues, do they jive with what it is I want for our future as Americans? And I think I really loved Bernie. I did. And as much as I, in my lifetime, would love to see a woman president, I really loved Bernie. I loved what he stood for. So for me, I vote for issues rather than candidates, honestly.
I think that's so smart and so perceptive, because really, look, we're in a country that celebrates individual liberties, but really doesn't. It's all about how quick can we get you to join? How quick can we get you to sign up for something? How quick can we get you to register as something? They make it restrictive. You can't take part in the primaries unless you're registered, whatever the hell it is.
Absolutely.
And I think that's unbelievably wrong. I think they want. The American political system is predicated on removing critical thinking from the process and getting a knee-jerk reaction from a voter so you can count on their vote. And I think more people should be smart like you and go, it's really not about the party, it's about the person and about the issues.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what, even less about the person for me and more about the issues, because we're so busy looking at our president as the person who, calls all the shots. That's not true. They do not have the power to call all the shots. And it has to do with, the people who are in office, with him, and the checks and balances that occur in American politics and things like that.
I gotta look at them all, not just the one guy. Gotta look at the whole thing.
It's true. I believe that, because...
Or girl, man or woman.
You know what? We're human. And I see our president as human. Whatever party they come from or whatever they stand for, they're human. They make mistakes. And for me, I've known a lot of really good people who've made really stupid mistakes in their lives. And they're really good in business, but they're kind of jerky people in real life, And
horrible on Snapchat.
Yes, horrible on Snapchat.
Well, you also have a lot of professional musicians that have gotten out into the world. You've got sort of a broader perspective on what America's like compared to the rest of the globe. I think you said your next big Save Ferris show is in Indonesia. Not many people have not many people have that experience of being in America, from America, and then going and seeing how the rest of the world operates. When you kind of stack America up against the international experiences that you've had, how do you feel we come out?
God, it's like so much for me to talk about in a short period of time. I think.
Quick, in 30 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Are we number one?
We're number one. We don't place enough importance on education here. I have my own theory about that. I think if you keep people stupid, they don't ask questions. And if people don't travel, they don't have a sense of worldliness, then they have a feeling that they are the center of the world. So we also don't place a lot of importance as Americans in general. I'm not speaking for all Americans, but on travel. And so I think that being able to travel the world has obviously changed me as a person and my views on humanity and politics and things like that. Absolutely.
You know, I think you're so right, because people that have traveled, I hear this from them over and over again. Please, 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 before you vote, get out into the world and see what it's like. Then come back and do what you're going to do. I think those are very wide words. Thank you so much, Monique Powell. Thank you very much for being here. Good luck in Indonesia. We can't wait to hear the new Save Ferris EP. 5 songs coming out when? At the end of the month?
Yep.
Woo!
End of the month. Woo! Yeah, that's it. 5-song EP.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
Life is getting hectic and things were unexpected when I first received your call. But now it is the best thing to fill up what was missing, and now my life is ending by all. When I am down and I am blue, all I have to do is close my eyes and think of you.
Our guest in the studio today is Monique Powell of Save Ferris, a legendary ska punk band that is currently experiencing a huge resurgence. And as part of our punk rock politics segment, we're talking about her worldview and how it got to be the way it is. What's it like for you looking at the world of politics and current events as an artist?
I think being an artist and you having to create for a living, you have to be open-minded. Because if you close your mind off to something, you could be missing the potential for something really beautiful that you can use in your life or in your art, you know? And so that's the thing with politics. For me, it's more about like the well-being of Americans. Are we like what is healthy for us? You know, scary language and end of the world shit. It's not healthy for us. You know, when we don't make good decisions when we're in fear. And so anyway, that's how I see it. And also, you know, there's tons of people who support Trump that are Save Ferris fans. I see it on social media. My parents I was telling Barry, they're Orange County Republicans and they're full on Trump. And
Literally Orange County.
Literally.
I see what you did there.
Literally.
Okay.
Literally.
I like fake tan a lot.
I like it.
Yeah. So, but you know, I mean, I get it. I understand why he's appealing to them. I can understand it. So it's nice to be able to do a show where, you know, you're not scaring people away.
You know, bouncing in the middle.
Yeah.
All the things.
You're not scaring people away.
Well, I think, you know, like actively trying to repair the divide, you know what I mean, is what we're trying to do, you know, is trying to, you know, having your parents, look, you know, if you have a good relationship with your parents, you probably love and respect them and cherish them and all this sort of stuff. Even if they believe something so unbelievably different from you, you're still going to love them. And people are letting that get in the way of friendships, of family relationships, and all this stuff. And it's just like, you're not an evil a-hole that hates America if you vote differently from someone.
Yes, you are.
And like
Rebel.
I'm from the East Coast and, you know, New England, and my family's very sort of Kennedy-esque in the way they go through life and come from a part of the world, you know, before living in England, my roots are in a part of the world where if you go like you swing a cat and everyone's a liberal Democrat. And then I spent 10 years in Texas where it's the exact opposite, where you can go guns, no Obama, and everybody will go guns, no Obama. Like it's the same as going to the stars at night or big and bright. You will get the same call and response. And then
I
like
love it.
one thing I love about San Diego is like you have this huge military presence plunked down in the middle of hippy dippy tofu sprout eating yoga doing California, and it's like it's much more difficult to remain angry at someone if they're your next door neighbor and they loaned you their lawnmower or they happen to be really hot. You
Absolutely.
know, like what if you, like all the, like when you live right next to them, it leads to a bit more of a balanced perspective because ultimately we just want to get along.
Absolutely. Yeah, we do. And ultimately, we want what's best for, like you said, we want what's best for our families. We all kind of want the same things. We want to be safe and happy. We want to be able to pay our bills. We want our kids, we want to know that our kids are going to be okay after we're gone, you know? And if you, the thing about politics right now, well, let me just really quick. I mean, if you have time to talk, this is fascinating to me. But on Tuesday nights, for years, my best friend has multiple sclerosis and she's in a wheelchair. And I live in a house with stairs. So my best friend has never seen the inside of my house because she's in a wheelchair. That being said, every Tuesday night for many years, I go to her house, her mom makes dinner, and her mom's friends and my bestie and I play Scrabble. Through doing this, I have gotten to know some really exceptional women of a certain age.
Ooh, Meryl Streep's her age?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't want to, but you know, and I can ask them really neat questions like, do you remember in your lifetime politics ever being this polarizing? And they will say to me, no, I've never seen anything like it in my life. We're living in a time right now that is so different than anything I've ever experienced. I mean, people are fired up. People are fired up. There's a lot of scary language being used. There's a lot of trigger points being pushed. And that scares me. That scares me. I don't believe in a system where people are supposed to live in fear because they make better consumers or because they're going to vote for you because they're scared of the end of the world. I don't. And that's where we're at right now. And it's freaking me out. It's really freaking me out. I'm trying to make, the best choices possible and have my opinions come from the right place.
Everybody's freaked out.
Everybody's freaked out. Yeah, everybody's freaked out. And, anyway, it goes back to what I was saying about education. Like, I feel like we need to place more importance on education in America and travel. I do. I think, when we're informed and we're well informed, we make better decisions. So that's...
I agree. I think, it's not a new thought or original thought, but like I just believe that education is the cure-all for so much that is wrong with the world at the moment. I think a kid with an education, because education is more than just being able to go to college afterwards. Education is the idea of possibility, the idea that, there's so many people that live in a type of poverty where they never see beyond like the 5 square miles where they live. And a kid with an education that knows more about the world, that has a sense of possibility, is less likely to hold up a liquor store, and on the other side of the world, less likely to strap a bomb to their chest. It's
Absolutely.
just, I think you are hitting it right on the nose with the education thing. And a cheesy thing to go like, the children are the future, but, kind of, they are.
Yeah, and it's important to have a sense of curiosity and wonder in life. I think it's important for parents to allow their kids to have that, because when they stay interested and curious, they want more information. They want to branch out and get answers to difficult questions, and they may want to travel or try different kinds of food, and they experience the world that way, and it just makes for much more open-minded humans, you know? And I think that when we have the ability to be open-minded like that, we can make much better decisions in politics as well as in life. You know? That's what I think.
No. I 100% agree with you. How you went to college, right? How far did you take your education?
I actually only did 1 year at Cal State Fullerton. I was an opera major, and then my band started doing well, so I left. But I was never a great student. But because I was raised in a family of mixed cultures, my mom was born in Morocco. She's and she speaks 5 languages fluently, and my dad is American, Southern boy. So I had these very different cultures in my home, a lot of different languages growing up. And I think because of that, I kept this sense of wonder and curiosity. And, it made me a better artist. And through traveling, it made me a better artist and experiencing the world. And I feel like it made me a better person. But it was because my parents allowed me to keep that sense of wonder and curiosity as a child and as a teenager. And, they encouraged it.
I think one of the greatest skills that you can have in this world, no matter what it is you're doing or what it is you're up to or what it is you're about, is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
And the more well-traveled you are, the more of an ability you have to see that, hey, other people's lives are very different to what I'm familiar with and what we have going on here on a daily basis. And if you can, you don't have to agree, but if you can kind of understand how somebody got there, man, that's a big part of the battle.
Right. And like I was saying, too, is so many Americans, because because our education system is very limited and we're not encouraged to travel, we feel that we're the center of the world, that we're the center of the universe, that there really isn't a world outside of us. Because it's like self-centered place to be, I think, and so then you don't have a sense of like having an impact on the world when you do something that's screwed up.
I hear this over and over again. We've talked about it, but I hear it over and over again from people that have traveled the world and musicians, by their very nature, if they experience some success, to continue and to have that success and to be able to make a living and pay bills and eat and things like that, are forced to travel this world. But from the people that I know that have done a bit of globe trotting, I hear it over and over again. See as much of the world as you can, because it really changes how you look at your own life. Your life will be a richer thing for it, and the lives of the people around you will be a richer thing for it. So I guess, when at all possible, hit the road, which is hard to do because we're all working so hard, in our daily grind to maintain here. It's really tough, and some people might see it as like, oh, high-minded. Sure, I'll just forget my responsibilities for a year and backpack across the Hebrides. Great idea, AD. But there really is value to experiencing as many other perspectives as you can.
There is, and it's you make it a priority in your life. You save up for it, or you can, if you're in California, you could go north to Canada, or you could go south to Mexico, and you don't have to take a week off work, or you don't have to spend a lot of money. But what I was also saying was that if we're able to maintain a sense of curiosity and wonder about the world, we can experience that through food, through cuisine, through art, through documentaries, through the internet is an incredible place to find information if you know how to look for it.
Go back to that part where you're talking about food. If someone wants to, your mom's Moroccan, you said?
She is. She's a Moroccan Jew. We feed.
So
we're feeders.
If someone was going to eat the best example of Moroccan/Jewish food that they could eat, what would you say it would be?
Oh man, probably tagine. Probably like a vegetable tagine on couscous. Yeah,
Couscous.
That's some good stuff. Yep.
Well, Funkhouser has informed me that we are running out of tape, but I think our takeaways from this, our takeaways from this are travel, eat tagine, and be awesome to one another.
Yeah.
I'm not crying for you. No.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
Your little lies, I can't believe. Lies won't retreat.
Our guest on the show, Monique Powell of Save Ferris fame. We are talking to her about politics as part of our punk rock politics segment. Also, we're discussing the fact that Save Ferris are back with a certain amount of vengeance. New EP coming out at the end of the month. What was it like going into a studio now versus back in the day when you were first starting out? Just because technology has moved along so much.
It's so quickly.
Mm.
So
Everything's on computers now.
Oh my goodness. I was this album the EP that I'm doing right now is like sort of inspired by the first EP that Save Ferris ever did. So I've been thinking about that first EP that we self-released in what was like 95 or 94, something like that. And so I've been reminiscing about how, our time in the studio recording it, and we recorded to tape, which is just unheard of nowadays. It's like so archaic.
Well, I think unless you're Foo Fighters and have like a budget to go do things the way people did back in the day when you had like millions of dollars and an incredible studio in your garage at your disposal, like the idea of recording to tape is like this enormous extravagance now.
Yes. Yeah, because tape was expensive. So you really had to get it right the first time. Because you didn't have a lot of tape to waste. But now you can just, and recording is so much easier and quicker now. And it's such a great experience right now. I mean, it was great then, but
I saw a couple of your Facebook videos where you're in the studio singing along and stuff with your new hair color. It's awesome. Super, super blondie.
Thank you.
What do you call that? Platinum?
I don't know. Silver? I don't know. It does what it wants. Every time I wash it, it's a different color. It's going to be like, I don't know, flesh colored tomorrow or something weird like that. I don't know. But thank you.
Do you think that the way technology has moved in terms of going to make records? Because I've heard musicians argue both sides of this equation. Do you think it's a positive or a negative thing that it's become so much easier to go in and record?
I think it's a positive thing because it allows new musicians or aspiring musicians to do great music without having to spend a lot of money. And so because of that, I'm really grateful for it. I think it's such a great time for musicians right now who are, just trying to make it. We have so much more at our disposal than we ever did before. Mm-hmm. Possibilities are much greater now for us.
You can form bands on Snapchat.
Bands on Snapchat. It's interesting. I remember like one of my favorite bands ever, Firehose. I remember D. Boone from Minutemen and Firehose saying once that when it came down to it, really in the I guess early 80s with Firehose, there was two things. There was the band. There was the flyer and the show, and they said a flyer was literally anything that got you to go to the show. It could have been your actual flyer, it could have been a demo tape, it could have been a recording, it could have been a radio interview, whatever it was. Everything was divided into two camps: the show and stuff to drive people to that show. And now we live in this day and age where people don't. Like, the paradigm has shifted. People don't pay for music anymore. People don't do that thing where they have to listen to something on the radio, catch what the name is, hear it a couple times, then get in their car, go down to Tower Records, purchase a compact disc for $16, slice their fingers opening the annoying little cling film situation that you had going on there. And remember that little razor blade they gave you to open up those things? Like, I've got so many scars on my fingers from it. Then, shove it in your car and be like, I'm really trying to get into this because I spent $16 of babysitting money on it, and frantically read through the liner notes the way you did. That whole thing is gone now, and I can't but help but feel people are missing out on some fun because of it. And I think you kind of are apt to give music a bit more of a chance when you spent $16 of babysitting money on it. But at the same time, we're back to this kind of purist place where there's the show and things that get people to the show, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you know this, but I think vinyl is now outselling CDs. And so there's my husband and my sister are about 10 years older than I, and they talk about the CD era the same way. They talk about the record era the same way we talk about the CD era. How, we miss getting the CDs and opening it up and looking at the artwork and all the lyrics and how exciting that was.
Yeah, remember 33 1/3? Wow,
Yeah.
that was stacks of wax,
Exactly. And that's exactly how they are about records. Man, just everything sounds different on a CD. And just
man. The quality's different. It's
Right.
digital.
But
not
I
real.
really believe that there's a large population of music lovers who want to buy the record and they want to, take the film off and smell the new record smell and, just there's like an excitement behind that. And so there are people who still want that. There are. But there's also, the opportunity for musicians to make money in another capacity now by selling their music on iTunes, which is much easier to get your music out there. And, before we only had the radio and there was only like 2 people choosing what bands went on the radio. It's like, how are you going to get your music
I
out
don't
there?
like those 2 people. Those 2 people suck.
I've been made one of those people. I've been made one of those people, and now I hate myself for it. It's a constant struggle. But you're totally right. Let me ask you this, because back in the day, it used to be a filthy, dirty thing to do to your credibility to license your music to a commercial or for something like that. And now this is something that it's kind of accepted. Like, oh, cool, one of my favorite bands got in a car commercial.
Oh, dude.
I know, because now I'm aware of how the finances of music works, and I know that, AWOL Nation will be able to pay their rent this month because, sale was used in that. Like, it's a very, very different thing where it used to be such a sellout move to license your music to anything other than a movie. But now it's like a humongous win. And I would imagine Save Ferris's music would work well, not just in spam commercials, but like in a bazillion different things.
I would like to think so myself because I would like to pay my rent this month. But that being said, it totally freaks me out when I hear like Iggy and the Stooges on a car commercial or like Buzzcocks on a car. Yeah, like all these bands in car commercials. Very interesting. But yeah, it freaks me out. But it's also kind of awesome because I get to hear music that I like on TV sometimes. But yeah, it's really
Depends on how they
interesting
use
time.
it. Sometimes I'm like, what?
Yes.
Why
yes.
did you do that with that?
Yes. Like when they redo the song and they make another version of the song, I get kind of like
My
weirded
Canadian
out by
girlfriend knows the cult Firewoman only because of a beer in Canada that used the song in the commercial.
it. Wow.
And I'm like, that's weird.
I have to tell you though, sometimes I will hear songs on shows or on commercials and I'm like, that is a great song. And then I Shazam it and they made a fan for life. So, I don't know. There's an upside and a downside to all of it.
I'm going to play you something now. And this is taken an iconic piece of all of our childhoods because there are certain things that no matter what age you are, become a rite of passage around the 8th grade. Combat rock by The Clash, I think, is one of those things. Led Zeppelin 4 is one of those things. And then there's certain rite of passage movies. And I can honestly say that you, me, Funkhouser, and absolutely everybody listening would have been a different person had it not been for the movie The Breakfast Club. Am I right in this assumption?
Absolutely.
So, generally speaking, when people kick us directly in the childhood and mess with beloved memories, I'm not into that. However, this is absolute genius. I encourage you to listen to the whole thing. It's on my blog at Real Radio 104, realradio.fm, and at the Buzz website, and at the show, the station in
You're
San Diego,
Googleable,
rock1053.com. Yes, Google me, and you will have an opportunity to listen to this, which I believe is a commercial for a certain type of cat treat. Here we go.
Yes.
Wait for it. Here we go.
Meow, 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 meow.
Yeah.
Is this real?
Yeah, this is a commercial for Temptations. The video has cats playing guitars and keyboards. And generally speaking, I would have been like, what are you thinking? This is horrible. This is apocryphal. This is terrible. Yeah. This has given me so much happiness over the last couple of days.
Yeah, meow songs. You can't.
I would advise you to go to my blog and listen to it right meow. And
Wow.
you know what? It would have been unthinkable for the longest time, but now I'm totally in favor of that. Let's hear it again.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no.
Here it is.
I'm holding a cat over my head right now.
I think that's In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel, but I would be in favor of that
Close
as well.
enough.
Do you think that the singer for Simple Minds, it's Simple Minds, right? It doesn't.
Yeah.
Do you think that the singer from that band went back into the studio and just sang meow 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 meow?
Oh, I hope
No, I
that's
think
the
it's a
original
really. I would love to think it's the original dude, but it just okay. So I grew up playing drums, and there's a couple of drum fills in there that are completely unique, and they have been lovingly recreated for this version of the song. I was just like, did they half-ass it? No, they didn't. They did. They really. They did the right thing with this, I think. As much as you can do the right thing when selling out a beloved childhood memory for a cat food commercial, they did the right thing.
That is insane. That is just pure insanity. Wow. Now that I don't know if I could have done that. Like I said, I get kind of weirded out when they change the song. I like it when they use the original song and the original artist. I really like that.
But if you start meowing things, I don't know. That's the whole other dimension.
Well, let's just say I'm a cat lady, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I could watch.
Tell me that when you've put that song on around the house and you've been hanging out with your cats, as crazy cat ladies do, tell me there hasn't been a moment where, and I know the reason this came about was because someone had a cat, was listening to Simple Minds and went meow, 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 and a little light bulb went on above their heads, and they went, I can make bazillions selling this to the folks over at Temptations if I can get Jim Kerr of Simple Minds to go along with my idea. Meow, 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 meow. Oh, it's a sound of sweet kibble being made. It's
sweet kibble. I love it.
See?
And he's he's whistling all the way to the mailbox for that check he gets, too.
Yes, baby, yes.
Oh, Monique Powell, this has been absolutely awesome having you on the show. Thank you so much. Please come back anytime. Talk to us about what's going on with Save Ferris. Have an awesome show. You're doing a run of dates in Indonesia. We look forward to hearing the new EP, hopefully at the end of the month. You rule. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you. I had a great time.
Sometimes you feel like it's cool to turn the other cheek and give people the benefit of the doubt even when they don't deserve it. And sometimes you feel good about yourself for being the better person and doing that. Well, this is not one of those times. I don't think you realize what's on my mind. I've been too nice for way too long. I think I want you to know just what is going on. So bite me, you're a bag of suck. Every second I'm around you I put down to bad luck. And knowing you just sucks every day. And I